Welcome back to the channel. This episode we're going to be working on Brutus, and we're going to be installing a trailer mount. So this 3-inch, and then we have a reducer for it, as well as in order to convert the lighting, since it didn't originally come with a way it's set up for trailers, we have a little converter box. We have a trailer controller for electronic brakes, circuit breakers. We have some braces for this, as well as they are the chain hooks. We have a 7-pin connector, and then we have a cabling that's going to go into the truck itself. So with that said, first thing, I need to notch this upper piece right here, just right in the middle, get it down to the 2.5-inch bar that we have going across. Then we can weld this guy to the top of it, and then the braces onto the sides there. First thing we want to do, we want to find the center point right here. So I don't need the tape across the whole thing. We're going to put it just across the midsection. So I can see where I'm going to be cutting and everything else. And we can mark it up and plan on it. Now we have 24 3/4 space, so that means 12 and let's go ahead and cut down at an angle right here, and right about here it's going to get to our 2.5-inch bar. So then we'll take on the outside, score it out with a angle grinder. Then we have a weld in the middle on the back side. We'll take care of that too. All right, let's look what we got. So if we put this guy here, we got good on the bottom. Maybe need to go another 1/8 of an inch down, just so we get a good weld transition from this to the backing. Now, if we put this here for the sides, I think we actually want to take and put this right up back here. So we'll notch this out all the way out to here, and then get a good weld on the entire back side, front side, and then to the buckle right there. centered, it's cinched up. I'm gonna go ahead and weld this. I'm gonna have to take and sand out these corners so that way it compensates for the weld. We can get around it. But then we'll also weld these guys on here. The pin has plenty of space down behind it. You can see it's about 1.5 inches. So pin will go in from the back. This will weld across, and it will weld across the top, the bar, and this guy. Get the side braces and the hooks chamfered, flushed out. So this is the right one, so it'll go over on this side. And where the heck's the left one? Here we go. And this guy will go right here. So I'm gonna hit this, clean this off. We'll tack them in the corners. So down here, here, and up here. And then weld the whole thing up. We're gonna do one more piece of welding and then move on to the electrical. So figured since the weight's gonna be pushing down right here, right now we have a little bit of a fulcrum. So we're gonna weld this guy corner to right there. And that's gonna support the weight as well as get the load pushed over into the frame. So let me clamp this in, clean off the area, and then weld it. For a little mounting bracket, I almost forgot to weld this in. It's gonna get welded in down here. It's supposed to be screwed in, but we're gonna weld it. Next step here is we got to go ahead and install both the connector, and then we also have to install our little adapter for the blinkers and everything. So we have all the wires tucked down here. So we just got to get them connected in here. And then the ones that go directly to the 7-pin, we'll take and connect up directly to the 7-pin. Little Kurt controller. So we have left turn signal, right turn signal, brake, ground, and parking lights. I want to say parking light. All separate, and then it goes out into the standard 4-pin down here, which your left and right and brake are controlled by just taking and the brake going live on both wires at the same time, and then for left turn signal the left flashes, right turn signal right flashes. So real simple converter, real simple circuit, and all we're going to do is just connect it up. And all we're going to do is just connect it up. It's fairly straightforward. And then our outputs are going to take and connect into the plug right here. So brown, yellow, white is the ground, so we'll connect into the ground. And then let's see, what is blue on this guy? Oh, blue is the signal for the brake. And then green should be our turn. We're going to remove this harness end because we're not going to use a plug. We're going to cut all these. The ground, we're going to ground it right to the chassis, right here. And we should be good with that ground right there, because that's going to transfer it straight to the battery. And then on this end, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to connect this directly to the ground right here. Alright, we have our generic wiring instruction sheet for a boost controller for brakes. So we need a good source for power. Ground's easy. But we need to also tap into the brake wire. Voltage only when pedal is pushed. So on the side after it's connected, not the constant power. So we need to take and dig in here between all the relays. I think there's some unused ones right there. So I got to check where those feed out to, but those are probably going to be our best bet right there for power. So this is a pigtail for brake controller. So these are 12 gauge. I was going to try to use this corner one out of here, but I started looking up the wire code and it's AVS-2, which is the equivalent of 14 gauge, which is on the thin side for what this needs to be. So what we're going to do, what are we going to do? I think we're going to run new 12 gauge wire in here for the power. That way we can run up to 4 axles if we needed to for brakes without affecting the efficiency of the brakes. So we'll go ahead and tilt the cab up and then run a new wire in here. I think I have a 10 gauge that will then take and split for everything. And we'll run that right off the battery up in here. So we're going to take one of those relays and we're going to use it to connect up our brake controller. We're going to rewire it so it's connected up, run blue front all the way to the back. Then we're going to run red to the front and black to the back. So that's going to give us auxiliary power to the trailer, as well as power up front to the boost controller that is then going to be controlled through the controller, and then all the way back to the back. Right there, that second grommet, we're going to run up the wires through there, dead center in the middle of the cab, and up to the relay. We have what I think is enough of a loom to get us going. So we're gonna shove it in through that hole and then start working it all the way back, and then add more into the loom if we need it. Otherwise, we're targeting getting back to the battery right over here. Hope you guys can see that. I got a hole drilled through the middle of the bushing, so now it's good. Got the wire pushed in through there. All we're gonna do is zip tie it up now. This isn't bad, guys. I used to work confined spaces. This isn't bad. So we're gonna take it back along the frame rail a little bit more and go across the cross member up here, which is gonna take us right out by the battery. Right here's where it's going to get interesting. I need to feed this through the gap and get it feeded through this gap in here, and this is sealed from top and bottom. This is just a cavity going across, so I got to take the end and feed it through. Here's where we're at. So we got this fished over to the other side. We're gonna run the red wire out for the battery, but we also gotta run a black wire in. So basically we're swapping 1-for-1 going back into the loom, and we gotta loom it all the way back. Fix you guys here real good. Loom it all the way back across here to the tail and connect it up into the 7-way connector. Alright, so we got the red wire fished on up through here. Now we got to swap it for this one. We're going to loom it so it's going through the hole protected. I'm going to go ahead and fish this line the rest of the way back, and then I'll catch you guys in the back. Alright, so down here, this is where our power came up. I'm gonna pull it up just a bit. Alright, now we just gotta wire this into the relay connector. Alright, two things. First, we need to print a standoff block for the breakers. So I'm going to go ahead and mock that up and start it. Two, this is where we're going to install it in these upper three. We're going to shave them down so they're flat top and bottom. Then we need to take and do this offset because it needs to be in line with a line of travel for the inertia. So it needs to be about 15 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and take and shave this out, see how it fits, and then probably heat the sides up until we can take and kink it over how much we need it. All right, here's the printed version. And it is fully locked in. It's got the little retainer pins on the sides, so it's not going anywhere. So let's fit it in there and then see what it looks like. Look at that. And then we'll just screw it in. It is in line with the direction of travel. And then all we got to do is shave down the other piece so it lines up at the bottom of this and overlaps it. For the breaker block, I printed out this guy. So it is going to be one bolt through the frame to the other side, and then we got the holes where these are going to get screwed down on both sides. So here's what we're looking at when it's fully assembled. We got the breakers on there. So the battery side is going to go to the bottom, auxiliary side is going to the top, and then we'll take and connect it up. I'm going to go ahead and get in there and bolt it up to the frame. We're using, what is this, 9mm, 8mm bolt, 8mm bolt. So we're just toss some Loctite on there and then bolt it in from the inside. So we added it to the stack, and that's our cable right here, or cables, and we got them connected up at the bottom. So everything's secured down. Put the battery cover on here and test it out. There we go. Alright, I am only filming one outro for 2 episodes. So for the service, everything looks good. So we're going to take it around the block. And for the trailer, we're going to make sure the brakes work. And if everything's good, once again, outro for 2 episodes. Not going to do 2 separate ones. And brake mover trailer works. So that's good. Coolant's at a quarter. Looking good. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.